All right, we got a few people up in here, I think. Let me take a look here. Seen Bob rolled in there. 2 YouTubers, 2 Facebookers. Yeah. All right, we got a few people up in here, I think. Let me take a look here. Seen Bob rolled in there. 2.
Yeah. Yeah. Breaker, no South Jersey checking in. Danny in the shop where the real ones begin. 454s, 2290s, 28s, heading knocks. All age, she's hitting hard. Melting mud duck slides. Danny the man with that Dave May flair. Old school vibe, 90 smoke in the air. Forget that weak 6 pill, high Q noise. This that Jersey Bill heat for the real convoy. Yeah, to myself, but don't be a clown. Connex 3300 HP Max will shut you down. Core 29, Galaxy to the dome. PCC 66 or that Ranger Top 1 Chrome. Key it down, watch the mud ducks fall. South Jersey amps, yeah, the story gets told. Bleed over burning, watch it strong. 1, 2, 3 style, that skip rolls on. Key it down, watch the mud ducks fall. South Jersey amps, yeah, the story
Welcome to the weekend. It's Friday, man. This Thanksgiving thing's coming up quick, guys.
Cadillac radio, straight pill stacks. 468, crushing airwaves flat. Superstar 148, bro is okay for straight 16 pills deep. Now that carrier loud, putting clowns to sleep. Got a 711 tune, razor sharp. Truck CB.
All right, that there's all Mike Smith right there. What's going on, Adam? How are you? Roger, how are you?
Crispy and clean.
You guys, you're more than welcome to take, and if you're coming in, you can type your name or handle in there, say hello. Say hello to everybody else in here in the chat. So Mike Smith did this song for me. I think it may have been a revised song, but he did a really good job. Especially people coming in and out. So we're going to go ahead and get this project started here. Find a thing here. There we go. Where's Molly? She's over there. All right. Thanks again, Mike Smith, doing those songs. Really cool. Does a good job on these songs for me. I don't ask him to do them. He does them out of goodness of his heart. I really appreciate it. So this is another South Jersey production here. Decided to build this one last night. I was going to build it like a week or 2 ago, and I got sidetracked on other things. So this is a 120 millimeter fan that I put in here. It's not stock from ICA manufacturing. This cabinet comes with a 80 millimeter fan, I believe. Yeah, this one here was punched out. I think it was 80. Could have been, it might be a 92. I could be wrong, but regardless, I punch a big hole in here, and I mount my own fan in there. So, has a remote jack, 2 10-gauge wires. This is the SD-1446. Now, I said I like these transistors, and I do like them. This is the very first one I done like this. And that, real quick, if you want to go to this, that's why the gold zippies on there. I've been putting the gold zippies on the first off boxes. Thought about it. It was kind of afterthought, but I have found some gold zippy stickers, and I put them on there. After that, they'll be silver. Okay, well, regular business inside here. Has a nice 5-amp relay in here, and then 1-inch transformers, 1446 circuit. Let me take and make sure my screen is clean. I should have done this earlier. Oh, crazy. There we go. So, these are the SD-1446s. They are little itty-bitty guys, and they have little itty-bitty legs. They barely make it, but they work. It's not a big amp draw unit. You could damn near run this thing off a cigarette lighter plug. So, with that said, that is a unit. No potentiometer in here. I wouldn't suggest to drive, like if you have a big radio, I don't think I would drive like a stupid amount of power into this, because the performance we're going to show tonight is from a Dustin R&R radio, and they put out whatever they put out, somewhere around 50 peak, 45, 50 watts peak, I guess, at 9 to 14 watts bird, depending on your voltage and your power cable. It powers the radio. It kind of affects it. So I'm not pulling full power out of my radios because I don't have the Super Duty cables going to that radio. So I kind of need my radios just to function, do what they're supposed to do, and they are pretty much super good radios, but I'm running them kind of like an average radio. So just to let you guys know, everybody has the same shake and the rolling the dice to get a good radio from a good radio technician. Where's he at? He don't do it anymore. Dustin is not doing the stuff, quote unquote, anymore for the public, but there's vendors you can get the stuff through. And I know Charger, an ICA manufacturer, Fat Boy, he has plenty of Cobra 29s, the LX versions, the 29 LTD versions, the classics, and etc. So, and Dustin does all of his radios for him. So Dustin does a really good job on tuning and peaking up these radios. So as I said, I yanked this one out of my truck. I bought it brand new out of my box, so about a year ago, and it's just been a great radio. So I put it up there on the bench because my other one needs to be gone through, and I have to send that off to take care of that. So that's my old Texas radio that 7-Eleven had did. So moving forward on this, as I said, I punched a hole in the top, made it bigger, put it, and I jammed a 120 millimeter fan in here. So you can't complain. My amplifier is getting hot because it's not going to happen. It has a 106 CFM fan going through this air channel up front and then out the back. So it does have a remote jack and etc. So let's take and power this thing up, and we'll go over all of this stuff real quick. So let's see if I have a slug. Now that's a 25 watt. That's the one. I don't want that one. This one. So we're going to take a look at the analog on a 100 watt slug at the radio. All right, now the equipment's still off. So let's just take a peek at the radio real quick. My gain normally right around 12 o'clock. And if you guys watched the video last night, I did forget to take in, show you something. I forget what it was, but I was going to show the, maybe it was the amperage. But anyway, let's look at this. There's a 100 watt slug right here. And we're going to just read the radio. The radio's at 14.9. It's tuned between 14.5, I think, and 9. So let's take a look. What's going on, Eddie? How are you? All right, so here's a 100 watt slug on the bottom scale. See if we can figure this out. I think each line's 2. Audio, 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 audio. So I'm showing right about 10 watts RMS. And you gotta remember, I'm going through the bypass circuit in here and all of that stuff. Here's a 5 watt slug, and let's look at the bypass. Everybody likes to show. Here's the bypass. All right, it's barely moving. It's moving a little bit. That's about a half a watt. Now I can gain that half watt back. No, it's not even that. It's a 5 watt slug. So that's 1 milliwatt. Yeah. That's pretty low. All right, so again, let's look at this 25 watt slug. And this is going to show me to drive my radio as well. Audio, 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 audio. So we're clear. We're hitting this with about 10 watts bird RMS. So let's take a look at the peak. All right, peaker tweaker on a radio. And this isn't a performance test. It's just showing a functionability test on it. And here is your peaker tweaker, audio. So we're hanging out right around 42 to 44 watts peak. Now, that is on the analog. Look at it one more time. 100 watt scale, audio, 1, 2, 1, 2, audio, 1, 2. Now, does it help if I take my mic gain and crank it wide open? Probably not. Let's see. Audio, 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 audio. Just a little bit. Give me an extra 2, maybe 4 watts more. I'm sure you're square and not looking pretty there. All right, so we already looked into that. Let's look at the slugs here. We got those 2. Let's take this one out, for I won't jam it up in the corner. And put the 5K back in the hole. Just leave that on peak. All right, so light up power supply. Not a big runner. I'm hitting one switch, but still that's a pretty good little runner. All right, now let's look at 1,000 watt slug here. You know, look at 2,500, 5,000 digital, probably just a 2,500 here. Yes, and then 5 watt is input return back to the radio. This is the radio drive as well in RMS mode. So we have an amp meter up here and a voltmeter. So let's just start right here. Yo, Mike Smith, audio. Look at that 31 amps, audio 1, 2, 3. At 14.8, 31 amps. A little bit heavier duty than a cigarette lighter plug. All right, here you go. Here's your input reflection. First the radio. Let's see if they ate up any of my power. Audio. Actually let it go through a little bit. Why did it let it go through? Because I had a little reflection on the bypass. It wasn't much, but it shows you. Well, watch, I'll cut this amp off and I'll do a little less. Audio. So there's a solid 10 watts. I'll turn the amp on and guess what? Let me show you. I'll shut it back off. Here's your bypass. And this is why the bypass is really kind of important, because it's taking watts away. Audio. So that little bit of power that I lost there, I get it back when I drive. Audio. All right, so there you go. Give you any idea. And let's look at the 1,000 watt slug in analog bottom scale. Each line is 20 watts. This is a 4-fill audio, 1, 2, 1, 2 audio. So almost 200 on the analog. Let's look at RMS digital. 25 audio, 1, 2 audio, 1, 2, 1, 2. So 175 to 200 watts audio. Now, let's see the peaker tweaker. This one's already up there on peaker tweaker. Let's look at the 5 kilowatt one first. So each one's 100. Audio. So it's showing me just a smidge over 500. Let's look at the peak on the digital. Audio. So I'd say those are pretty spot on as far as the two slugs lining up. As far as equipment running, 500 watts peak on a 1446 with a good driving radio. I think got stuff a little hot rod here for a driver. Now, fortunately, I already unplugged that because I'm getting ready to ship it. That's the 8 that I did last night, and I started to take and do that video and set this thing up and drive the 4 into the 8. Showed 200 watts drive and double the drive, but at the end I kind of said no, because if I were to put the Texas Star on there, and the Texas Star I know does 150 watts, that was almost potentially overdriving the 8 transistor unit at 150 watts because I was at 14.7 or 8 volts. Now, even if I raised it up 3/4 of a volt more, yeah, it accepted it. Yeah, I made 2,000 watts peak. It grew, but it's a little challenging as far as drive. So let's break down the drive real quick, guys. All right, let's just take a moment and look at a transistor. I only have the one up here, I think. Yes. And 454. This one here, this little transistor here, the 454, it has 3 little chips in there. The 1446, I'm not sure what it has in it. If it has 2 or 3 in it, I'm not sure. I haven't broke one to find out. So this here is a 2879C, and I can use this as an example because the standard 2879s has 4 of these chips. These have 6. They're the same chips. There's just 6 of them in there. That's what makes a C. But if you get into drive level and we start talking about drive, so let's say, for example, we hit this thing at 100 watts. All right, and then you just simply divide that by 8, because they 8 transistors. So I was literally driving the 8 standard 2879s last night with, excuse me, 12.5 watts per transistor. Now, if you want to break that down again, and that's not a lot of drive, you can go as high as 18 volts or 18 watts per transistor. I wouldn't suggest to go too much farther than that. 19, let's just say that's the cap on the drive level at 14.8. Now, once you get into those drive levels, we're only at 12.5 here at 100. So if we took that and divided it by 4 times, it's 3.125 watts per chip. That's one little square in here per chip. And there's 6 of them in here. Kind of see them. They're somewhat kind of individual. But that's breaking it all the way down. Now, if you really want to break it down, you'd have to have a microscope and figure out how many little diodes are on each chip, and then you can divide by that. And I don't know. I'm not going to sit there and try to figure all that out. But a good rule of thumb is, guys, to figure out your drive level for whatever size amplifier you have, it's really simple. You say, hey, listen, I own a 5-pill. My 5-pill can do 400 watts. All right, now let's say I also own a 16-pill. Can I drive 400 watts into a 16-pill? Well, let's divide it and find out. So let's say that the 400 divided into 16, that's 25 watts a pill. That's hitting it pretty heavy, especially if you're talking DX. So if you think about an 8 and you say, I have 125 watts of drive, and then you take and divide that into 16, all right, that's only 7.8 watts a chip. Now rewind a little bit and say you had, again, 125, and you divided that into 8. Doggone it. Divide that into 8. That's 15.65 watts per transistor. So that's not quite full. You have room to grow. At 150 watts, you have room to grow into an 8. So let's go again and say I'm at 150, and then you divide that into 8, and now you're at 18.75 watts per transistor. Now it's full. So if you want to figure out on your 16 transistor, if you want to be full and safe, simply times that by 2. You take that back. You take your 150 and you times that by 2, and you have 300. So 300 watts of drive, divide that into 16, is again 18.75 watts. So you know that you're safe, and that's with the standard HG2879s. Now, if you get into the HG2879Cs, you have 2 more mouths to feed. You have 2 more chips. You have 25 watts peak per chip. That's how they call it, because they measure these in peak. That's how they come up with their formula number. So 100 watts, they rate these at 100 watts, and that's a peak number. Now, you get into RMS, it's kind of a different filling there. So you can drive and be excessive on your drive, especially with the C's. They're pretty forgiving because you have those extra chips. Because we just did that number, and 1875 on this chip is just cruising right along. It's like running a standard 2879, loafing it in a fashion. So the C's definitely take a little bit more drive. I'm thinking you're looking at 21 watts per transistor, and they're pretty much getting full at the lower voltage rating. Now, the guys that run around and say they cannot volt transistors, HGs, the 1446, 2290s, the standard 2879s, you guys have holes in your shoes for telling those lies and keep backstepping and backstepping and backstepping. You got to quit with I don't know kind of things. Let's prove it. Let's just go up. Well, I'm only going to go up 3/4 of a volt or so. So let's just take a peek, and we'll take in, got these 2 off, one running with an amp meter, and let's take a look at this box running. And I hadn't did this test, but I know it's going to be just fine. I'm going to take and put the lid on that, and then we're going to run this test again. Now, for example, we're just going to go right to our peak, and we're going to take and look. We're going to look audio, 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 audio. So now we're at 575 watts. Is that correct? Everything correct here? Yes. Okay. 575. Let's look at the peak up here. Audio, 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 audio. So it grew just that little bit because before it just hit at 500. And this number was exact as the other one. So we picked up for that 3/4 of a volt. We only picked up 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. We only picked up about 50 watts peak. Now, did we pick up anything in the RMS? Now, did we pick up anything here? Audio, 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 audio. Not really. Maybe 10 watts. Maybe 15 watts. But we didn't pick up a lot. But the boxes can still handle it. It's just that they're full. I have a really good hidden radio in here. So for the same example, if I didn't have this radio, let's really make it lob. Let's really sag this thing out all the way down. All right? Get a little carrier there. All right, let's take a look at this now. Okay, audio, 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 audio. So I really slowed that amplifier down, even though my voltage is up. right here. Audio, 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 audio. So we're at 15.7. Audio, audio, and we're running right about a little higher. We're almost at full volt there. But now we're taking in we got the radio back down, and it's still doing audio, 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 525 watts peak. So if I increase my radio, it just tells you that it's full. It's not making really any more power. Not going to make any more power, just a little bit, 50 watts. So those transistors are absolutely full. I don't really think somebody wants to take and say, oh, I'm going to get myself a driver and I'm going to drive my 1446s. You probably could. I have a 2290 box behind me. It's a 1 drive and 4, and that thing just gets up and scats. In fact, I had to slow it down and I had to control it because they're pretty easy to break. So if you get one of these little 1446 boxes, just intend to use a single final radio. You could probably get away with a dual final radio by itself. I don't think I would introduce a dual final radio in with a straight 4 transistor unit and drive that into your 12 or 16. I just don't think it's going to work out for you. You can try it. Now remember, your phase angle of your coax is really important to all of everything that's going on. It's kind of like the veins in your body. If you get it clogged up, you're going to have a heart attack and you're just going to hope you don't die. Someone's there to save you. So I run a half wavelength from my radio down to this unit, and then a half wavelength out of this unit, which would be, layman's terms, 12 foot of the .66 family, the velocity of propagation family. So if you run an LMR or some Helix or some Teflon coax, some 142, those are different numbers. They're going to be a bit longer because guess what? The shortest guy on the totem pole is .66 family. They're rock bottom. There ain't no numbers lower than them. And don't get tied up in reading about efficiency and how efficient that piece of coax is, because it's only as efficient as you make it. Now, if you don't take and stub tune your coax to a frequencies close to what frequency that you talk on, then you're just cheating yourself. Now, if you don't understand that, I talk about it in a lot of my videos. And actually, I have videos out there showing you how to stub tune your coax. And I believe it said, let's jump down this rabbit hole. And I did that. So you can visit that video on my YouTube at 123 Built Chicago. With that said, I gotta find Molly. I'm gonna go take a look for her real quick and see if we can't get her in our presence. Molly, Mo, where you at? Are you gonna come over here and see us? What do you think, Molly? You wanna do that? Come on over here. Come on over here, Molly. Come on over here, Molly. Hi there, Molly. How you doing? You good girl? You like your new food? You ate a bunch of it today. You cleaned the bowl, didn't you? You gonna wave? Hi. How are you? You sleepy? You sleepy, girl? You're not feeling good? Oh, come on. Give me a shake. Yeah. Hi. Say hi, everybody. How's everybody on Facebook doing? How's everybody on YouTube? You gonna say hello? Roof. Molly. Roof, roof, roof. Roof. Roof, roof. Roof. Yeah? Uh-huh. What's up? Got another one on the bench? What? What happened? That one ain't have... No? This don't have a home. This one don't have a home. It's number 1. Like you. You're number 1. That don't have a home. You have a home. Huh? Huh, Molly? You got a nice one, don't you? So, that's it. Molly just reminded me, this one does not have a home. So, first come, first serve on it, PM, me, and I'll get you lined up. I'll let you know how to do it. So, if anyone is looking for a 4 transistor 1446 box, it's ready to go. It can leave here as soon as Monday. So, there you go. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. I think Molly and me are going to slide out of here, going to watch a movie. And shut these lights off. My eye is twitching like crazy. But hopefully you guys understand a lot more why I make changes to things and try to not only make them my own, damn it, man. There it goes. All right. Not only make them my own, it's how I like to present a box. Right and tight. So no one can ever open a lid and say, no, Johnny built that box. No, Johnny didn't build that one. Molly helped me. Is that right, Molly? You can, hey, come over here. Come over here. Come here. Come here, Molly. Come on. We got her some new freeze-dried dog food. Boy, that shit's expensive. Come here. She loves it, though. She eat it up. Huh, we're working on the big booty program. We're going to try to get rid of your big booty. Huh, Molly? You going to wave bye-bye? Yeah? Come here. You're a pretty girl. Huh? Let me shake. Molly. You a good girl? You going to be good? What about the kitty? You know anything about kitties? You're not feeling that great, man. You sure are not excited. You got your big bed. Yeah. You gonna say bye-bye? You gone? You go. All right, guys. Well, there you go. I'm gonna go too. Thanks for watching. It's just a driver. Sorry I wasn't very exciting. Cool little driver though. Again, radio, coax, standing wave. Standing wave. Keep them under 1.2. And God, if you're there, work on it some more and get it down at least 1.1. Right back to you, Aaron. Good evening to you. Everybody that stopped by to watch this video. Some guys come in for a minute. Some guys are 2 or 3 minutes. Some guys watch the whole duration of the video. And thank you very much for hanging through my wobbly screen and me searching for words sometimes. But you can only say so many things about these little boxes. So, other than that, let's swap this back over real quick. We'll go back to regular voltage. And we'll look at it one more time. Radio's up. Here's your amperage and voltage. Here's your amperage and voltage. Audio, 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 audio. Whoa, 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 whoa. All right, here's your input drive level. Audio, audio, audio. Right about 10 watts. Let's bring this up a bit. All right, here we go. 1, 2, 1, 2. Audio, hello. Right around 10 watts. Input reflection, 5 watt slug. Audio, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Real low. Here's your peaker tweaker. Last time. Peak and a tweak and a tweak and a peak and a peak and a tweak. 500 watts. RMS on the digital. Audio 1, 2, 1, 2. Audio 1, 2. Flashes up that 200 watts. Audio right there. And I'm sure this thing has plenty of modulation. Now, real quick before I leave, y'all, I'm going to leave you this little tidbit of information. Originally, the SD-1446 is the original OEM package. Was cut for 27 megacycles. That's why the transistor always sounded so much louder than all of these other little driver transistors, the 455s, the 2290s, the 454s, 3800s. They had a lot more audio. Yeah, they get up and they do good. Now, could you make these transistors do more power? Sure you can. I don't know why you would, but you sure can. You just have to make some changes to a lot of different things, but you can make them run a little bit more. And for how much, I guess what they say is sometimes the juice isn't worth the squeeze. It's not worth the squeeze to take and squeeze out maybe 25 or 40 watts more. Not worth it. If you need a bigger driver, just get a bigger driver. It is, in its own word, a driver. Hey, Chuck Butter, how are you? All right, guys, well, there you have it, man. One little super duper South Jersey with no home. First come, first serve. Hit me up in a PM if you're looking for it. You got my phone number to shoot me a call or a text, and I will get back to you. First come, first serve. So there you have it. I will post up the price list in the comments. If you guys don't have them, they are pinned on my wall. So you should be able to take and go in there and review pretty much within 30 days of any video that I've done recently. Within 30 days, it'll still be on Facebook. After 30 days, they take it down. But you can always resort to my YouTube at 123 Built Chicago, and you can find all of these videos on there, because guess what? They don't take it down. So, all good. Thanks, props to YouTube for doing good. Facebook, you do whatever you decide to do. And Molly does that too. You do whatever you want, huh? To a certain point, right, Molly? Yeah, you're a good girl. You look at me like a raccoon corner, don't you? All right, guys, I'm out of here. Take care. God bless, and have a good, safe Thanksgiving. I'm out.